Good evening, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Today is Wednesday, August the 5th, I believe, and we have a level 1 focus class. So it's a 60-minute Vinyasa based class, and this week we are working on twists and turns. So a lot of times twists are associated with the spine, twisting and rotating the spine. We'll definitely be working on that today. But in addition to that, also twisting and turning at our shoulder sockets and our hip sockets as well. So we're going to try and get everything going. For those of you that were able to join class yesterday through Facebook, this will be a very similar class. So I apologize for a little bit of the repetition if you did make yesterday's. But a lot of times through that repetition, we can learn more about ourselves. So it can be beneficial as well. As far as props, have a couple blocks handy if you typically use them. They can come in handy throughout class, especially if you are normally using them for your practice. But don't worry if you don't have them. They're not completely necessary. So if you do, just place them up towards the top of your mat. Just have them ready to go later in class. And yeah, as far as twists, we'll take a minute before we kind of get into our deeper twists. In our level 1 classes, we start to move into a little bit more advanced poses, but it's still for everyone, and we build off of the fundamentals that we based on earlier in the week. So we'll take our time and then we'll kind of ramp things up. And one of the key things I want you to keep in mind in your twists here, especially with the spine, is preparing your spine for those twists. It's easy just to like go right into the twist and kind of not think about it. So by bringing more awareness into your spine, inhaling as you lengthen, creating that space, and then using that space to then revolve, rotate, that'll allow you to deepen into your twists, keep your lower back more safe that way. So I want you to be a little more conscious in your twists today. All right, I think we're all ready to get set. You ready to go, Coney? Coney's ready to go. All right, meet me in a cross-legged seat. We'll get started here. Have your ankles underneath your knees. Get nice and comfortable here. If you ever have issues sitting up straight, if you feel like you're falling back, you can always place a blanket or a towel underneath. You can always roll up your mat as well. A little bit of elevation can help keep the spine nice and long. So as you settle in, just place your palms on top of your knees. Let your shoulders hang heavy. Root down through your sit bones, rise up through the crown of your head, and just soften the shoulders away from the ears. We'll just start deepening our breathing here, and you have the option if you'd like to either close your eyes or have your gaze soften. No fancy breath work today. We just will go through a couple deep breaths as we start to transition into our practice and out of whatever we were doing earlier in the day. So you can really try to deepen your breathing here. I'll also invite you to start inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And with our nostril breathing, that allows us to kind of constrict the amount of airflow coming in and out of our bodies, therefore reducing our heart rate that goes along with that. It also filters the air and humidifies, which is really good for the sinuses as well. It can allow us to build heat. I can use this to deepen our practice. So keep taking some nice deep breaths on your own. Just feel as that air comes in through your body, through your nose. As you exhale, just let it leave. On your inhales, just let your chest expand, ribs rise, feel your spine elongate. Keep that elongated spine and exhale that air out, letting your ribs collapse, stomach fall. Just take 2 more nice deep breaths on your own. One more deep breath here. All right. Let's start by rolling out our neck. So keep your hands on your knees. Just gently start to tuck your chin so your chin comes down towards your chest. Still soften the shoulders away from the ears, and we'll start to roll out the neck here. So let the right ear fall to the right shoulder as you draw the chin over to the right, and then let your head start to fall back as your gaze comes up towards the ceiling, coming through center, letting your left ear drop to your left shoulder, and have your chin come down towards your chest through the center. Let's do one more time this way. So having your chin come over to that right shoulder, dropping that right ear down to the side. Head drops, gaze comes up towards the ceiling. Rolling through the middle, let the left ear start to drop. Chin drops to the chest. Come through center and pause here for a moment. And we'll go the opposite direction. So now move your chin to the left side. Let your left ear drop to your left shoulder. Let the head drop back. Just be very conscious and slow as you move through the center. Letting the right ear drop to the right shoulder. Chin down. Gently come through center. We'll do one more this way. Ear to shoulder. Let the head fall back. Coming through center. Right ear to right shoulder. Gently let the chin fall down. And pause in your center. Lift your chin back up. If your eyes are still softened or your gaze closed, just gently blink your eyes open to begin to warm up these arms. So release the arms down. Send the palms away. And inhale as you raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, turn the palms out. Release the arms down to your sides. 3 more. Inhale, palms out, arms up overhead. Soften the shoulders down. Turn the palms out. Exhale as you release down. 2 more times. Inhale, palms up, overhead. Palms face each other. Exhale, palms turn away as the arms fall down. 1 more time here. Palms out. Raise those arms up. Nice long spine. Exhale, release the arms down to the sides. All right, let's raise the arms back up, palms out. Keep the arms up overhead just for a moment here. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears. We'll add a side lean here. So begin by dropping your left arm down, left fingertips or palm to the mat or to a block if you need it. Inhale as you lengthen through the spine. Use that length as you exhale, side bend to the left. So keep your pelvis and your shoulders square to the long edge side of your mat or to your camera or screen. We're gently side leaning here just for a breath. Keeping that bicep next to the ear. Let's inhale, come back up to center. Bring that left arm up to meet the right. Switch to the other side. Release the right fingertips down. Fingertips or palm to the ground or to a block. Inhale as you lengthen. Use that length to side bend as you exhale to the right. Opposite side this time. Try and keep your bicep next to your ear so that your head isn't just going on its own. You're moving all in one piece as that torso, lengthening through both sides of your body. One more breath here. Let's inhale back to center, both arms up overhead. We'll repeat that side bend, but we'll add an option for our arm. So now as we drop the left arm down, it can either come to the mat, or if you want to send it behind you, the back of the hand can come to the low back as you side bend over to the left. So just another option here. If you are bringing the back of the hand to your low back, just try and roll that left shoulder up and back. Keep the bicep next to the ear. Keep both sit bones rooted. One more breath. Let's inhale back to center. Release the left arm up to meet the right. And opposite side. So drop the right arm down, either fingertips or palm down, or back of the hand to the lower back. Inhale as you lengthen. And exhale, side bend to the right this time. So choose your option, whichever works for you. Sometimes you need that little bit of support from that right hand. Try and keep both sit bones rooted. Keep the bicep next to the ear. Shoulders still square forward. One more breath. Let's inhale back to center, both arms up, keep them up overhead, soften the shoulders down. Now we'll add our twists. So here we go, opportunity to really bring our awareness to our spine. So inhale as you lengthen, create length in the spine. Keep the arms up, exhale, twist to your right. Once you can't twist anymore, then you'll release the arms down. Left arm to the outside of the right knee, right arm comes gently behind you. Then you'll inhale as you lengthen, create more length in the spine. Exhale, gentle twist to the right. Maybe you turn your neck to look over that right shoulder. We're staying just for a breath here. Now let's inhale back to center, both arms up overhead. Pause here for a moment, soften the shoulders down. Take one more inhale, lengthening through the spine. Opposite direction. Exhale as you turn to the left from the navel up. Then you release both arms. Right arm to the outside of that left knee, left arm behind. Inhale as you lengthen. Use that length to exhale as you revolve a little bit more. Maybe turn the neck to look over the left shoulder. And we'll inhale back to center, both arms up overhead. And bring the hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. So with your legs crossed, go ahead and switch the crossing. Whichever leg is in front, bring it behind. We'll try and balance both out here. Have those ankles back underneath the knees. And just settle in for a moment here. All right, our shoulders are starting to warm up. We'll give them another further warm up here. This is a fun little movement challenge here, both a mind game and a physical game here. So let's extend both arms out, palms face down. Arms should be up at shoulder height. This is our neutral position. So we're going to play around with our external and internal rotation of our shoulder sockets here. So we're moving the entire arms as one piece. So starting in our neutral position, we'll start with an external rotation. So externally rotate both arms by bringing the pinkies down, thumbs up, palms face forward. Maybe you can rotate a little more so that the palms face up towards the sky. And exhale, gently release back down to your neutral position. Work the internal opposite direction. So internally rotate, thumbs down, pinkies up, palms face back. And exhale as you gently release back to center. One more time each way. So externally rotate, thumb up, pinky down, palm faces forward, maybe it faces up towards the sky. Gently release back down to center. And we'll internally rotate, thumb down, pinky up, palm faces back. I'll gently release back down to center. And just release your arms down for a moment. All right, so we'll play around with that and we'll bring some movement into our shoulders. So again, this is a little bit of a mind game. So just follow me and see how it works for you. It may take you a second or two to see what's going on here. This is fun. So extend both arms out, palms face down. We'll do opposite in each arm. So starting with the right arm, we'll externally rotate. Thumb up, pinky down, palm turns forward or up. Left arm internally rotate. So thumb down, pinky up. We'll bend both elbows. So right elbow bends, left elbow bends. Palm of the right hand comes to the neck. Back of the left hand comes to the low back. Stay here. We're not staying here for long. And then exhale as you gently release. Come back through center with both arms shoulder height, palms face down, and then we'll switch. So now the left hand externally rotates. Thumb up, pinky down, palm faces forward or up. Right arm internally rotates, thumb down, pinky up. We'll bend both elbows. This time the palm of the left hand comes to the neck. Back of the right hand comes to the low back. Stay for a breath here. And then we'll exhale as we gently release. So we'll come back through center. We'll keep moving this time. So as we come through center, you probably guessed it, we're going to switch again. We'll externally rotate that right arm, internally rotate the left arm. Start to bend both elbows. Back of the left hand to the low back. Palm of the right hand to the neck. And then we'll gently release. Coming back through center, both arms at shoulder height. Externally rotate the left arm, palm up. Right arm internally rotates, palm back. Bending both elbows. Bring the back or the palm of the left hand to the neck, back of the right hand to the low back. And we'll release. Let's do one more time each way. Here we go. On our breaths. You got it. Coming through center. External rotate right arm, internally rotate left arm. Bend both elbows. Come behind your back for a breath here. And then gently release, coming through center. You can see how this is definitely a mind game as well as physical as we go through. Externally rotate the left arm, internal right arm rotation, bending the elbows, sending behind your back. Stay for a half breath. And then gently release back through center, both palms down. We'll stay here. And release the arms down. All right, shoulders feel good, nice and loose. All right. We'll keep working on our rotations through our spine. So now extend both legs forward. I'm just going to turn to the side. You can face whatever way works for you. Now facing forward, have both knees slightly bent, but your feet hips width distance. You can measure that by bringing two fists together, place it in between your knees or between your feet. And again, just like in our cross-legged seat, if you need to, have something underneath your sit bones to help keep your spine nice and long. Add an open twist here. So draw the right knee into your chest to start. Bring the bottom of that right foot to the mat and make sure there's about one handprint space in between the right foot and the left knee. Now release the left arm behind you. Try and get as close to the low back as you can, either palm or fingertips to the mat. We'll inhale as we raise that right arm up to the sky, create a nice long spine here. Exhale to the left. So we're twisting to the left. Right arm comes to the outside of that left leg. Keep flexing those left toes so they come back towards your face. Try to spin this inner left thigh in and down to keep the knee and the toes facing up towards the sky. We're here for a couple of breaths, so inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, twist a little more. Maybe you turn your neck to look over that shoulder. Really starting with the navel, moving up through the spine. Head and neck are always the last thing to move in your twists. Let's stay for one more breath. Gently releasing back to center. Release both arms to the side, extend both legs forward. You can shake it out a little bit. We'll move to the other side. So this time bend the left knee into your chest. Bottom of the left foot on the mat. Again, make sure there's about one handprint in between the foot and the knee, flexing those right toes. Now release the right arm behind you as close to your low back. Think of it as an extension of your spine. Inhale as you bring that left arm up overhead, create that length. And exhale, turn and revolve to your right. Keep that nice long spine. Release the left hand to the outside edge of that right knee. Keep flexing those right toes so they come back toward your face. Spin that inner right thigh in and down towards the mat. Again, that right knee can stay bent, that's fine. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale as you revolve. Again, maybe you turn that neck to look over that right shoulder, drawing the right shoulder back, broadening through the collarbones. Stay for one more breath here. And let's exhale as we gently release back to the center. All right, extend both legs forward. Shift your hips up towards your knees. We're coming onto our back. So you can gently hold onto your thighs or your shins and gently roll onto your back here. Now from your back, hug your knees into your chest. Give them a gentle squeeze. And you can gently roll from side to side, keeping your knees and your feet together. Don't worry about your knees touching the mat. You're just gently rolling from side to side, massaging that low back area. Now come back to center. Keep the knees hugged into your chest, but extend both arms out to a T shape. So arms shoot straight out from the shoulders, either into a T shape or a field goal post, depending on what room you have in your environment. And now bring your knees up so that the shins are parallel with the mat. Keep the knees and the feet together. Hug the navel in and down to reduce that arch in your low back. And we'll add some twists here. So we're keeping the upper body on the mat and we're moving the lower body into our twist. So we inhale as we lengthen here. Exhale, drop the knees to the left. We're inhaling right back up to center. And exhale, drop to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to left. So keep going on your breath. You inhale through center. Exhale, drop the knees to one side. So we're alternating both sides. Don't worry about those knees touching the mat. I'd rather have you keep both shoulders rooted as you move from side to side. If this is a little too much for you, you can drop your heels to the mat and just do the same thing. But see if you can challenge yourself. Most likely that arch in your low back is starting to form again. So see if you can hug that navel in and down to reduce the amount of space under your low back there. Let's do two more each side on your breath. Really starting to engage those abdominal muscles here to help you in your twists. And coming back to center, let's hug both knees back in, wrap your hands around your shins, give them a gentle squeeze. And now keep your right knee in toward your chest, extend that left leg straight out. Bring the left heel to the mat. Flex both toes so they come back toward your face. And spin that inner left thigh in and down towards the mat. That keeps the knee and the toes facing up towards the sky. Draw that right knee in towards the right shoulder as you extend and press out through the left heel. Imagine there's a wall underneath that left foot and you're pushing it away. Take for one more breath here. And exhale, we'll switch. So now draw the left knee in, wrap your hands around that left knee, extend and straighten the right leg out. Right heel to the mat, flexing both toes. Again, spin the inner right thigh in and down. Keep that knee and toes facing up towards the sky. Draw that left knee in towards that left shoulder and press the right heel away from your body. Press that imaginary wall down and away. Keep hugging that navel in and down, staying for one more breath. And exhale, we'll gently switch again. So draw the right knee in, extend that left leg straight out, release the left heel down, flexing both toes, spin the inner left thigh in and down. And this time we'll add a twist. So you'll release your right arm out to the side, bring your left arm to the outside of that right knee, shift your hips to the right, maybe a couple inches, and then let your right knee fall off to the left side. Shifting our hips just kind of gives us a little bit of an alignment as our right knee comes over. So again, don't worry about this right knee touching the mat. We're only here for a couple breaths. I'd rather have your right shoulder keep rooted here. You can always place a block underneath if you'd like. But try and at least have the knee up at hip height. So if it's down here a little bit, you'll be putting a little too much pressure on that low back. So have that knee at least up at hip height. You can turn the neck to look over the right fingertips. We're staying just for a breath here. And exhale, turn back to center. Recenter your hips, and let's switch the legs. So draw the left knee in, and we'll extend and straighten that right leg out. Right heel to the mat, flexing both toes. So release the left arm out to the side, palm faces up. Right arm to the outside of that left knee. Shift the hips to the left a couple inches, and then let that left knee fall off to the right. Same thing here. Try and keep that left shoulder rooted. Don't worry about that right knee touching the mat, but at least have that knee up at hip height. Keep flexing both toes. Maybe you turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Aim for a breath here. And exhale, gently release. Coming back to center. So tuck both knees back in towards your chest. Now we'll roll up to tabletop your way. If you'd like to hold onto the backs of your shins or your thighs, roll up and down your spine a couple times. You can do that. Cross your legs, come through tabletop. If you just like to let your legs fall off to the side, you can do that. Press yourself up. Let's just have everyone meet in our tabletop here. All right, in your tabletop, you have your wrists directly below your shoulders, knees directly below the hips, tops of the feet to the mat. Start to hug that navel in and up. Try not to let that belly sink too much. And you have a slight tuck of the chin, gazes up towards the top of the mat. Let's start with some cow cats. Best way to warm up the spine here. So let's drop the navel down on your inhale. Tailbone lifts, heart comes forward, look up. And exhale as you reverse. Round the spine, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. Come back to your cow on your inhale. Drop the navel, tailbone lifts, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. 2 more times on your breath. Just move through your cow cats. Mindful. Using this as an opportunity to connect your breath to your movement. 1 more time each way. All right, and meet me back at a nice neutral spine. Again, hugging that navel in and up. Fingers are nice and spread. So we'll work on the rotation of the hip socket now. So we want to keep our pelvis neutral and our shoulders square as we move through this. So extend and straighten that right leg back. Press back through the right heel, just like when we were on our backs. So bring the thigh up to hip height if you can. If not, just release the toes to the mat. We'll work on our external rotation. So again, keep the pelvis square. We don't want to move it. Keep it facing towards the mat. And externally rotate the entire right leg so that the toes start to face out towards the right side of the mat. So it might be subtle, it might be more intense, but if your right hip starts to come up, just drop it back down. So we're turning that right leg so the right toes face out. Now from here, we're going to bend the right knee and draw the right knee up to the right tricep. Now exhale, release that right leg back. Keep the right toes facing out. 3 more times. Draw the right knee up towards the right tricep and bring it back. So we draw the right knee up, send it back, and right knee, right tricep, send it back. Internally rotate it back down to neutral. Release that right knee down, top the right foot to the mat. Recenter yourself, and we'll move to the opposite side. So hug that navel in and up. Extend and straighten that left leg back. Press back through that left heel. Again, feel your hips. Make sure they're still facing down towards the mat. And then keep them centered as you externally rotate the left foot out to the left side. So now the left toes face out. Again, that revolution happened from where that femur hits your hip bone, right in that hip socket. So now we'll bend the left knee, draw it up to the left tricep, and then extend and straighten that left leg back. Drawing the left knee in, and send it back. 2 more times here. Left knee, left tricep, send it back. Once more here, knee to tricep, and then we'll send it back. Revolve it back down to center. Drop your knees down. This time bring your big toes to touch. Separate your knees out wide. Let's send our hips back towards our heels. Go into your child's pose. So with your hips back toward your heels, you release your forehead to the mat or to a block. And just take a couple nice deep breaths here. Know that child's pose is always an option for you. We're about to get into some more movement, so if you ever need to recenter yourself, catch your breath, reground yourself, know that child's pose is always an option. Just stay for a couple deep breaths. And let's raise ourselves back up. Back in a tabletop with knees under hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. Now, we have the option to advance what we had just done. So if you want to repeat what we did with the leg back and stay in your tabletop, you'll do that. If you want to advance, we'll come up into downward facing dog first. So if you're coming with me, curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back, we'll come into downward facing dog. So you're either in down dog or you're in tabletop. Either way, lift that right leg up to hip height. Same thing, externally rotate the right toes out to the right side. Keep the hips neutral. And now we'll draw the right knee up towards the right tricep as you shift the shoulders over the wrist. And we'll extend back. So you're just repeating this if you're in tabletop. Otherwise, you're going from down dog into plank, adding that knee to tricep. 2 more times here. Keeping the toes facing out the entire time. Last time. Extend and straighten that right leg back. Release the right foot down. We'll switch to the other side. It's either tabletop or down dog. Left leg up. Press that left heel back. Externally rotate that left toes out to the side. And here we go. Left knee to left tricep. If you're in your down dog, shift forward, shoulders over wrists. And press back into your down dog. Leg in the air. 3 more times here. Twice more. Elbow to tricep. I'm sorry, knee to tricep. Last time here. And then release that foot back in your down dog. Everyone come back into tabletop. Bring those big toes to touch. Bring the knees together. And this time, send your hips back towards your heels, but have your torso up this time. We'll come into a seat for a moment here. With the tops of the feet to the mat, if this doesn't work for you, you can always curl your toes under and sit up on your heels this way. And if neither of those options, just come into a cross-legged seat as we were before. We'll just take a moment here to work out our wrists. All right, so let's clasp the fingers together, intersect, bring the base of the wrist together, and try to bring the elbows close together. Let's just roll the wrists out here. So we're rolling in like a figure 8, infinity symbol, however you want to picture it. Just a nice way to give some love to our wrists here. Can often be neglected in our class, so now's the time to work them out. Begin to slow and let's switch, go in that opposite direction. You can try and keep those elbows close. Bottoms of the wrist touch. And come back to stillness. Release the clasp of your fingers. Now bring the backs of your hands to touch. And let's roll them up and through. So the idea here when you roll them through is to try and keep the base of your wrist touching the entire time. So it can be a little tricky. Don't think about it too much. You might hit yourself in the face. It's happened to me. So just rolling out here. Begin to slow. Let's go in the opposite direction. So come in, down, and away. One more time here. All right, ready to go. Just shake the wrist down a little bit, just nice and light. And come back into your tabletop. Just for a moment here. Wrist under shoulders. Let's curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back, and everyone come into downward facing dog now. Give you a couple breaths to walk your dog out now. Take your dog for a walk. You can lift one heel, lift the other if you'd like. You can lift one leg and lift the other. Just move and groove for a couple breaths here. Doing whatever you think your body needs right now. One more breath. And let's come back to stillness, back in the center. So feet or hips width distance, heels behind the center toes. Let's inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet or hips width distance, stay in your forward fold. Knees can bend. Let's grab opposite elbows, come into ragdoll pose. So knees can bend as much as you'd like. Feet are nice and parallel. Let the head hang heavy. Slight tuck of the chin. If you can, let the head hang in between both arms. And now you can gently sway from side to side. Gently swaying, easing that low back. Adding a little passive twist here as we go back and forth. Now switch whichever elbow's on top and keep swaying if you'd like. Or if you're one that just likes to stay in the center in your ragdoll pose, that works as well. And now let's come back to stillness, release both arms down. We'll come up to standing but nice and slow. So press down through your feet, let your head and your arms hang heavy, and inhale as you slowly rise up, one vertebrae at a time, stacking each one on top of the other. As you begin to straighten your legs, your head and your arms are the last thing to arrive. And once you're up, let's just roll those shoulders up and back a couple times. Opposite direction, back and forward. All right, if you're not already, come meet me at the top of your mat. Feet or hips width distance, heels behind the center toes. Arms down to the sides. Mountain pose here. Let's try and draw that tailbone down, drawing the frontal hip points up. A lot of times we have the tendency to kind of over curve our lordosis in our back here. And so we counter that by drawing the tailbone down, drawing the hip points up. So you'll hear me say that a lot. With the arms down by the side, palms face forward, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Chin is parallel with the mat. Let's get right into it. Let's inhale as we bring the arms up overhead, gaze is up. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Knees can bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands to your shins, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Let's build off that. Inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Let's place both hands on the mat. Bend your knees as much as you need to. We'll step the right foot back. We'll step the left foot back in your plank pose. Let's hold our plank pose for 2 breaths. You can always drop to your knees. Either way, shoulders over wrists. Fingers are nice and spread. Keep pressing those heels back and away. And now everyone drop your knees to the mat. Shift forward, bending the elbows back. Lower all the way to the mat in one piece. Uncoin the back toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat. Inhale as you lift your head up and your chest up into your baby cobra. Staying here for a breath as you send your heart forward, draw the tailbone down toward your heels. Think more length than height. Let's exhale as you gently release the forehead back down. Curling those back toes under. Press up through your plank pose with your knees down and lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Stay in your down dog for 3 breaths. Keep hugging the triceps in, spinning the biceps out. Elbow creases can start to face forward when you do that. Lift those forearms off the mat as you press down through the base of each finger and each thumb. Heels are pressing back and down. One more breath. Let's inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet or hips width distance. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, nice long spine, slight tuck of the chin. Exhale, forward fold, knees can bend. Press down through your feet, coming back up to stand. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. Take a moment here. We'll move on to our next series. We're nice and warmed up. All right, let's inhale as we bring the arms up overhead, look up. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. So you'll plant both palms down. Keep your left foot forward, and we'll extend that right leg back. Coming into our warrior two pose. So we'll drop the right heel down so that the right toes are slightly forward than the right heel. And now wiggle this left foot to the center of the mat so that you have heel to arch alignment. Left arm to the inside edge. Raise the right arm up to the sky, press down through your feet, and lift your torso up into your warrior two pose. All right, let's check in real quick here. Make sure that left knee is on top of the left ankle. Pressing back through that outer right foot. Arms are up at shoulder height, palms face down. Make sure your shoulders are square to the long edge side of your mat. You can turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Keep softening the shoulders down away from your ears. Stay for a breath. All right, now we'll reverse our warrior. So we'll drop the right arm down, left palm up to the sky, and keep the front knee bent as you side bend over the right leg. Option to put this right arm behind you by internally rotate back of the hand to the low back. Maybe it comes a little bit further in your reverse warrior, just like in our side lean while we were seated. Stay for one more breath here. Now exhale, come back up through your warrior two. Bring both arms up overhead, spiral forward, send both arms forward and down. Come to your high lunge. Come up on that back heel, and then walk your hands to the right side of your mat. As you walk your hands to the right side, feet will parallel, heels behind the center toes. So we're in a wide-legged stance here. Now, if you need to, you can place your blocks underneath your hands here. So either your palms come to your blocks, palms come to the mat, or you can have your fingertips to the mat. Your torso is still up at hip height for now. Have it parallel to the mat. Make sure you check in with the feet nice and parallel, heels behind the center toes. Keep drawing the kneecaps up into your hips, and now we'll add a little bit more of a bend here. So inhale as you lengthen through your spine. Exhale, if you can, fold forward a little bit further here. Letting your head drop wherever you are. Arms are shoulder width distance. If you like, you can walk those hands back, bending the elbows with the fingers forward and the wrists back. Maybe the wrists come back to meet the ankles in line. Whichever version you are, wherever deep you're going, chin is tucked, letting that head hang long. Try to shift more weight into the front of your toes, front of your feet, but keep your heels on the mat. Keep drawing the kneecaps up into your hips, staying for one more breath. Now let's walk those hands back out, lifting up halfway. And now bring your hands to your hips, a slight bend in the knees, lift your torso up. So now we're in a standing wide-legged stance here. All right. Now let's turn the ankles in and the toes out. So now the feet are at like a 45-degree angle, so they're no longer parallel. Bring your hands to your hips with your thumbs behind you and your fingers in front of you, or on the front side. And now use your thumbs to press your tailbone down and opposingly use your fingers to lift those frontal hip points up. So just like in our mountain pose, we're drawing the tailbone down, lifting the front side up. Now keep that and start to bend the knees. We'll come down into our goddess pose. As you bend your knees, keep the knees tracking over the ankles, so try and draw the knees away from each other. Now keep drawing the tailbone down. Let's release the hands and add our arms. So send the arms out to shoulder height, palms face forward, bend the elbows, and draw the backs of the shoulder blades into your back. Keep drawing the tailbone down, breathing into the back ribs. Now let's add some movement. Let's inhale as we straighten the legs, and exhale, rebend. 3 more here. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Keep drawing the tailbone down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more time, maybe go a little bit deeper this time. Inhale as you straighten. And exhale, bend. So stay here in your goddess pose. You have the option now, if you'd like, press down through your toes and lift your heels off the mat. And this is an option for you. A little bit more of a balance, a little more of a challenge. Definitely turns on the calves. Wherever you are, keep drawing the backs of the shoulder blades in towards each other, pressing down through the feet. One more breath. Gently release the heels, straighten the legs, release the arms down back to your hips. All right, keep your legs nice and wide, but parallel your feet again. We'll come back into a wide-legged forward fold. So you have the option here. If you'd like, you can clasp your fingers behind your back, and you'll add your forward fold that way. Otherwise, you can repeat what we did before when we just had the hands shoulder width distance. So choose what works for you. So if you're coming with me, I'm going to interlock my fingers behind my back, bring the base of my wrist to touch, start to straighten my arms, roll the shoulders up and back. Now everyone start to inhale as you draw your chest towards the sky, maybe add a slight back bend. And on your exhale, start to hinge forward, forward fold. So your feet are parallel. Start to shift more weight into the toes, but keep the heels on the mat. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, maybe fold a little bit more. Slight tuck of the chin, let that head hang heavy. Keep pressing down through the feet. Hug the legs in towards each other. If your fingers are clasped, maybe you draw them up a little bit higher, away from your back. And gently release your arms if they're tied. Press your feet down into the mat. Slight bend in the knees, hands to the hips, and raise yourself back up. All right, take a breath here. And now we'll do our warrior 2 on our other side. So just bend the knees slightly. Actually, let's straighten the legs. Let's come into it this way. So on our warrior 2 on our right side, let's externally rotate that right leg so the right toes face forward. Internally rotate the left toes so they're slightly forward. Now bend the right knee over the right ankle, squaring the hips to the long edge side of the mat, and extend both arms out to the shoulder height, palms face down. Here we go. We're coming into our warrior 2 pose from this way, as opposed to from the mat. Now you can turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Keep pressing down through the heel, firming that outer right thigh in, pressing back through the back left foot. Staying for one more breath. Now we'll reverse our warrior, keeping the front knee bent. Release the left arm down, right palm up. Raise the right arm up to the sky as you side bend over the left leg. Option to bring the back of that left hand to the low back with that internal rotation, or maybe that left hand comes to hit that right thigh. Staying for one more breath. Maybe you turn to look up at those right fingertips. And now exhale, release, come back through your warrior 2, and then spiral both arms forward and down to either side of that right foot. Come up on that back heel. Send the right foot to meet the back foot. Let's drop your knees to the mat. Shift your torso forward. Bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat, all in one piece, nice and controlled. Tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale as you lift up into your baby cobra. Send the heart forward. Draw the tailbone down. Shoulders come down your back as well. Keep the elbows drawing in towards each other. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release. Curling the toes under. Press the hips up through your plank with your knees down. Lifting the hips up and back into your down dog. Let's stay in our down dog for 3 breaths here. Keep sending the chest back towards the thigh, lifting the hips up and back to where the ceiling meets the wall. Keep firming the triceps in, staying for one more breath. And now inhale as you gaze forward, Bend the knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Feet or hips with distance. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. You might be at the back of your mat like me. Let's come back to the top of the mat. Just walk your way back up there. But this time at the top of your mat, bring your big toes to touch and your heels slightly separated. Once you have that, arms down to the sides, palms face forward. Same thing, drawing that tailbone down, lifting those frontal hip points up. We'll come right into our chair pose. So we'll bend the knees, send the hips back, arms come forward. Palms face each other, wrap the pinky side edge forward, palms face each other. Try to bring those biceps up near the ears. Make sure you can gaze down and see your toes. If you can't, send those hips back. You still want a nice long spine, so avoid arching or rounding. Now we'll add a twist here. So bring your hands to the center of your chest in your prayer pose. We'll inhale as we lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist to your right. So we're twisting to our right from the navel up. Lower body stays exactly where it is. You can stay here or option to bring the outer left elbow to that right knee. Wherever you are, keep drawing that left hip back, pressing the hands in towards each other. Roll that right shoulder up and back. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the ceiling. Keep shifting the weight into the heels. One more breath. And now exhale, just come down into your forward fold. Release your hands. Forward fold. Let's inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Coming back into chair, knees bend, hips back, arms forward. Bring the hands to the center of your chest. We'll move to the other side. So we'll inhale as we lengthen through the spine. Use that space on your exhale to twist to your left from the navel up. Lower body stays just where it is. Option to release that right elbow to the outside of the left knee, or you can just stay up here. But either way, draw that right hip back. Most likely it came forward. Keep rolling that left shoulder up and back, broadening the collarbones. Maybe the neck turns to look up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms down, keep your left foot forward. Step your right leg back. Now keep your right knee up off your mat. Press your right hand underneath your right shoulder. You can place it there. If you need a block, you can place it underneath. You can use your fingertips as well. Lift your left arm to the sky. Add your twist here. Now press down through your feet and lift your torso up, keeping that twist. So left arm back, right arm forward. Keep that left knee tracking over that left ankle. And then gently release back to center. Stay up. Left arm comes forward, both arms up overhead. So we're now in our high lunge. Now bring your hands back to the center of your chest. Stay with me here. Shift forward 45 degrees. So you're at a slight tilt here. We're coming into our warrior three. So now press up off the back heel, shift forward, lift that right leg up to the sky. Torso comes parallel with the mat. Press back through that right heel. Keep firming that outer left hip in. Maybe raise that right inner thigh a little bit higher. Staying for one more breath. And now listen carefully. We'll lift the torso up, bending the right knee up into our chest. So we're balancing here. Still the left foot is on the mat. Right knee comes up. Let's lift both arms up to the sky. Palms face each other. And now release the left arm to the outside of that right knee. Right arm comes behind you. Add your twist here. So the right palm faces away with the left palm to the outside of that right knee. Final option here, you can place the outside of the left hand, the left hand to the outside of that right foot. Straighten that front leg, really challenge your balance, adding your twist here. Maybe you turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. One more breath. And exhale, gently release that foot down, bring both arms overhead. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Make sure your big toes are touched, heels are separating. We'll inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. So we'll switch to the opposite side. So whichever foot you had forward, send the opposite foot back. So I'm keeping my right foot forward, sending my left foot back. Left hand comes directly underneath that left shoulder, palm fingertips to the mat or to a block. And inhale as you raise the right arm up to the sky, twisting from the navel up. Keep that twist, press down through your feet, and inhale as you lift up. Revolve twist here in your high lunge. Both palms are facing away. Keep this right knee tracking over the right ankle, firming both hips in towards the midline. Now release that, arm comes forward, come into your high lunge with both arms overhead. Stay for a breath here. And now release your hands to the center of your chest. You know where we're going. Shift forward 45 degrees. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, press up off that back foot, lift into your warrior three, lifting that left leg up, flexing the foot, torso parallel with the mat. Keep drawing that inner left thigh in and up towards the ceiling. Press back through that imaginary wall with that left heel. Send your energy out through the crown of your head, creating a nice long spine. And now stay with me here. We'll lift the torso up as we bend the left knee up in towards our chest. Bring it up to hip height, flexing the left foot. Bring both arms up overhead, pinkies rotate towards each other, palms face each other. And now release the right arm to the outside of the left knee and left arm behind you, palm faces away. Turn and revolve from that navel up. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale as you twist. Option here to grab the outside of the left leg, straightening that left leg forward. Keep firming that outer right hip in. Maybe turn the neck to look over those left fingertips. Let's stay for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Bring both arms up overhead, big toes touch, heels separate. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Lift up halfway. Exhale, plant both palms down. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Drop your knees down. Bring the big toes to touch. Let's send our hips back towards our heels. Come back into your child's pose. Releasing that forehead down to the mat. Take a couple deep breaths here. One more deep breath. Now gently lift your hips up, lift your forehead up. Send your legs off to the side. Come to a seat with your legs out in front of you. Now, in the beginning of class, if you remember, we'll kind of repeat a very similar twist, but it'll be very different at the same time. So we're sitting on our sit bones, legs are out in front of us, knees are slightly bent, hips width distance. You can measure that with your 2 fists if you need to. So in the beginning of class, we did an open twist. We're now going to do a closed twist, very similar. We'll start with the right knee. Let's draw the right knee in towards our chest. Hi, Oliver. But this time, instead of having the right knee to the inside edge of that left knee, the right foot to the inside edge of that right knee, place the right foot to the outside edge of the left knee. Make sure the entire bottom of that right foot is on the mat and press down through that right big toe. So add a closed twist. We'll twist over our right knee. So release the right arm behind, either fingertips or palm to the mat, as close to your low back as you can. Let's inhale as we create a nice long spine. And exhale, twist to our right. So we're twisting over that knee. You can bring the outside of that left elbow to that right knee. It can help you just gently deepen your twist here. But keep flexing those left toes, pressing down through that right big toe. Hi, Oliver. Oliver's checking to make sure everything looks good here. Maybe you turn your neck to look over that right shoulder. Staying for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Let's send both legs forward. Shake it out a little bit, and we'll move to the other side. So now we'll draw the left knee in towards our chest. Place the bottom of that left foot to the outside edge of that right knee. Flexing the right toes, press down through that left big toe. This time we'll release the left arm behind us, as close to the low back as you can. Palm or fingertips down. Inhale as you raise the right arm up to the sky. Exhale, use that length to revolve, twist to your left. You can release the outside of that right elbow to the left knee. And just keep deepening your twist, taking nice long deep breaths. Inhaling as you lengthen. Exhale as you twist. Keep flexing that right toes. Press down through that left big toe. Maybe you turn to look over that left shoulder. One more breath here. And exhale as you gently release back to center. Extend both legs out. Use your hands to shift your hips forward. We'll come onto our backs again. Hold onto your shins or your thighs. Gently roll down onto your back. And walk your feet back underneath your hips so that the the feet underneath the knees, not underneath your hips. So ankles underneath the knees, feet and the knees are hips width distance. And come into a bridge pose. So press both palms down beside you. Got a cat in my way over here, so I'm going to use one hand to press down. Press down through your feet, and on your inhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up into your bridge pose. Keep spinning the inner thighs in and down. That keeps the knees hips width distance. They almost always want to separate out. Keep sending your chin away from your chest and your chest toward your chin. Really engaging the glutes and the calves to lift the hips up. Stay for one more breath. Gently release from the top of your spine. Come through your mid back. Low back is last to arrive to the mat. From here, bring your knees to touch. Heel toe your feet out to the width of the mat. And send both arms out shoulder height. Palms face up, either into a T shape or a field goal post. Let's gently let the knees rock from side to side. Just be gentle and slow here, loosening up that low back. If there's any last little bit of tension there. And then come back to stillness in the middle. Let's heel toe the feet, separate the knees back to hips width distance. Draw both knees in towards your chest, give them a nice gentle squeeze. And then separate the knees out wide and extend and bring the bottoms of your feet to face up towards the ceiling. Happy baby pose. You have the option with your arms to grab the outsides of your thighs, outsides of your calves. If you grab the outsides of your feet, have your elbows come to the insides of your knees. Either way, keep your low back on the mat and try and draw the bottoms of your feet down so the knees come closer to the mat here. If you're one that likes to shift left and right, sway left and right in your happy baby, go for it. And let's just come back to center. Release the clasp of your legs. Hug both knees back in towards your chest. Bring the knees together, feet together. Wrap your hands on tops of your shins. Give a nice squeeze. Bring your head and your shoulders off the mat, in toward your knees. Hug everything in. Give a nice deep squeeze here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, let's extend everything. Extend the legs away from your body, arms overhead. Point the toes, extend the fingertips away. Create one nice, long, deep stretch here, stretching everything. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale as you release. Arms down to the sides, palms face up. With your legs long, let your knees and your feet fall out to the side. We'll come into our Shavasana pose here, our final pose of practice. Feel free to take any other shape that suits you this evening. Maybe you bring the bottoms of your feet to touch, let your knees fall out to the side in your bound angle. You can place blocks underneath your knees. Sometimes that will allow for more of your spine to rest on the mat. Or just stay in your Shavasana. Whatever you use to release. Releasing any last little bit of tension in your body. As you gently start to soften your eyes or close your gaze completely, just begin to settle in here. And finally, releasing any last bit of control over the breath. Just be here. Know that your job is done. You can just let gravity take over, letting yourself melt into the mat here. And just begin to bring some awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. Now begin to bend your knees in towards your chest as you gently roll over to one side of your body. Let your top arm rest on your bottom arm, top knee rest on your bottom knee as you stay here for one last breath here on your side. And try to keep your eyes softened or your gaze closed as you use your top arm to press yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged seat to complete your practice today. And once you're in your comfortable seat, you can rest your palms on top of your knees. Palms can face up, or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you all for joining me in practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me for practice today. Really appreciate you taking class today. And sorry there was no fundamental class this week. Just had to interfere with the other class I was teaching through the Free Baltimore Yoga. We should be back to a fundamental class next week. The next class, though, will be a level 2 focus class. That will be Friday at 7 p.m. So we'll ramp things up a little bit, add a little bit more of a deeper twist into our practice for class there. As always, if you ever have any questions, you can leave them in the chat or in the comments for the video. The video description also has more contact info to reach me. Check out my Instagram account if you ever want to stay up on updates, schedule changes, or stuff. I'll announce there. In addition to trying to change the little YouTube thumbnail that you see for the new next live events. So yeah, thank you all so much. Again, I guess we saw Coney and Oliver today. Oliver's right in front of me, so it's always nice when they can make an appearance. And again, if you ever have any questions, just reach out to me. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next time in practice. Oh, hi, Diana. Thank you for joining. Appreciate seeing you here. Yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Yeah, my name is Daniel. Peace.